So good morning everybody. Is the screen visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we'll continue with the books of Anurag Limited. In the last lecture, we have completed up to books of both the companies. We closed books of both the companies, Parag Limited and Chirag Limited, and we started with books of Anurag Limited with the journal entries. Two entries were already recorded. That was for purchase of that was for recording the purchase of business purchase account debit to liquidator of Parag Limited with the purchase consideration of 5.5 lakhs, and second entry was business purchase account debit to liquidator of Chirag Limited. PC was 7,46,000. Now moving further, next stage will be to record the assets and liabilities taken over from respective companies. This data will be directly available from the details of assets and liabilities taken over, which we have prepared in the form of a working note. So based on that, we will debit respective assets, we will credit respective liabilities, and we will credit business purchase account for a purchase consideration. So our entry for Parag Limited will be like this: plant and machinery account debit 8 lakhs, stock account debit 65,000, debtors account debit 95,000, bank account debit 65,000, to sundry creditors 75,000, to business purchase account our PC is 5,50,000. Now in the initial discussion, we were referring to a fact that whenever the purchase consideration is on net payment basis, there is a possibility of getting either goodwill or capital reserve, as the case may be, not in all the cases, but yes, certainly in some cases. So we will have to see whether this entry is balanced, and if this entry does not balance, then there will be either goodwill or capital reserve, because rest of the items which are part of this entry are already recorded. So let me just check the totals of debits and credits. This is the total of debit, this is the total of credit. So we have difference on credit side. Credit balances are falling short of 4 lakhs rupees. So this 4 lakhs rupees is a balancing figure here. This 4 lakhs rupees here will represent capital reserve. So to capital reserve, this will be a balancing figure. Reserve, this will be a balancing figure of 4 lakhs. So in case of Parag Limited, we are getting a capital reserve when you record the assets and liabilities taken over. Now, why do we get a capital reserve when the assets and liabilities are taken over? The reason will be the assets and liabilities taken over from Parag Limited have a higher value in comparison to the amount of consideration paid. If you see the total of debit side and credit side, and if you see the difference and compare that with the purchase consideration, you will realize that the net asset values are far better, far more than the purchase consideration. So whatever that benefit accrues, which will be accruing to Anurag Limited, will be recorded as a capital reserve. So we have a capital reserve of 4 lakhs rupees in the books of Anurag Limited due to this particular reason. Now in the same way, we have to record the entry for another company, that is Chirag Limited. Now we have taken over machinery, stock, debtors and bank account, all of them from Chirag Limited. Then apart from that, we have taken over debentures, because we are going to settle the account of debenture holders by issue of fresh debentures, and you have also taken over creditors. So let us pass the entry for Chirag Limited. Our plant and machinery, if you refer to the statement, is valued at 8,80,000. Stock is valued at 66,000. If you remember, both these assets were appreciated by 10%. Debtors, book value, and even bank account at respective amount. Then we have taken over liabilities. So to 9% debentures account. Amount of debenture taken over was 2 lakhs. Then we have taken over sundry creditors. Balance of creditors was 90,000, and then to business purchase account 7,46,000. So this is again the entry based on statement of assets and liabilities taken over from second company, that is Chirag Limited. Machinery account debit 8,80,000. Stock account debit 66,000. These are the revalued amounts, agreed values of these assets, because we have to record the assets at agreed values. Debtors account debit 50,000. Bank account debit 40,000. To 9% debentures account 2 lakhs rupees. To sundry creditors account 90,000. To business purchase account 7,46,000. Now, like earlier entry, let us check whether this entry is balanced, because earlier entry we had capital reserve. Let's check this entry also. And in this case, the entry is balanced on its own. There is no difference either on the debit side or credit side. What could be the reason? Anyone? As compared to earlier entry, we are not getting any balancing figure over here. What is the possibility? Why it could be so? Yes, anyone? Why is it different than the earlier entry for Parag Limited? The reason is, here the purchase consideration is on net asset basis, and that balancing figure of goodwill or capital reserve will not come if you have purchase consideration based on net asset basis. What was the method of purchase consideration here? It was net asset basis, if you remember the calculation. So in this case, you will not have any balancing figure of either goodwill or capital reserve, as the case may be. Whereas in case of Parag Limited, it was the purchase consideration was on net payment basis, and if it is on net payment basis, you may possibly have, not every case, but you are likely to have either goodwill or capital reserve, as the case may be. Have you understood the difference between these two types of considerations and possible consequences in the books of new company? Yes, both the entries are clear. Can we proceed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the next step will be to settle the purchase consideration. If you go back to the statement of purchase consideration, there is a separate consideration for shareholders of Parag Limited, and there is a separate consideration for shareholders of Chirag Limited. In case of Parag Limited, you have given them equity shares worth 5.5 lakhs, and these 5.5 lakhs worth of equity shares were issued at a premium of 11 rupees per share. If you remember the calculation, we have issued 50,000 equity shares at the rate of 11 rupees per share. That includes a premium of rupees 1 per share. If you want me to take back to the purchase consideration, we'll just revisit purchase consideration, the details, so you'll understand what is the purchase consideration I'm talking about. This was the PC. In case of Parag Limited, it was 5.5 lakhs. It comprises of 50,000 shares of 10 each at 10% premium. The calculation is already here, aggregating to 5.5 lakhs. While in case of Chirag Limited, it comprises of two items. There are 2,400 preference shares, 7% preference shares of 100 each, and 46,000 equity shares of 10 each issued at 10% premium. So for which we will pass a separate entry in case of Chirag Limited. So let us first record the entry for discharge of purchase consideration as far as the first company, that is Parag Limited, is concerned. The entry will be liquidator of Parag Limited account debit to equity share capital account to premium account. The purchase consideration was 5.5 lakhs, right? This was discharged by 50,000 equity shares of 10 each. So face value is 5 lakhs at a premium of 10%. So premium is 50,000. So if you compare now this with your details of purchase consideration, this will match. We have issued 50,000 equity shares. The face value is 10. So total face value, aggregate face value is 5 lakhs. To that, we have added 10% premium to arrive at purchase consideration. So total purchase consideration became 5.5 lakhs. So that extra 50,000 will go to securities premium account. So this was the discharge of purchase consideration of Parag Limited. Now in case of Chirag Limited, we also have to record purchase consideration and corresponding discharge. PC we have already recorded. Now we have to record the discharge of purchase consideration. Now when you record the discharge of purchase consideration, we'll have to see what is the breakup of that. We have allotted them equity shares. We have also allotted preference shares. Preference shares were allotted at par, while equity shares were allotted at premium. Total amount for equity shareholders was 5,06,000, comprising of 46,000 equity shares of 10 each, issued at a premium of 10%, and you had issued preference share capital to the extent of 240,000 rupees. So let us pass that entry. Liquidator of Chirag Limited, account debit, equity share capital account, 7% preference share capital account to securities premium account. So liquidator account, we will debit for full value of consideration, which is 7,46,000. Then equity share capital account will be credited for 46,000 shares at a face value of 10. So that will be 4,60,000. But these shares are issued at a premium, 10% premium. So premium will be credited to premium account 46,000. And for preference shares, the consideration stands at 2,40,000. So 2,40,000 is a consideration for preference shareholders. We will have to see whether debit or credit matches. Yes, the credit side total is also 7,46,000. So we are able to match debits and credits in case of discharge of purchase consideration. Has everyone followed entries for discharge of purchase consideration?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now there is one more liability where we have to take care of, and that liability is debentures of Chirag Limited. If you see the earlier entry for takeover of assets, Chirag Limited had debentures worth rupees 2 lakhs, and these were 9% debentures. And it has been agreed that Anurag Limited will issue them 10% debentures. So we have to pass one more entry. The entry will be 9% debentures account debit. This is only for reference of Chirag Limited. You need not write actually in the entry. This is for your reference. 9% debentures of Chirag Limited account debit to 10% debentures account. These are the new debentures of Anurag Limited, which were given to the erstwhile debenture holders of Chirag Limited. So the debenture holders of Chirag Limited are also satisfied. Instead of 9% debentures which they were holding in Chirag Limited, they are now offered 10% debentures of Anurag Limited, and accordingly the settlement has been carried out. Before we complete the accounting entries and proceed to next aspect of it, we need to check a couple of things and then we proceed. One thing you must check is whether you had any statutory reserve in the balance sheet of any of the companies, because if there is a statutory reserve, that has to be accounted for in the books of new company. So if you revisit the balance sheet, you will realize that in case of Parag Limited, there is a statutory reserve. Now, what is the requirement for this statutory reserve? This statutory reserve should be continued in the books of new company. So though Parag Limited is closed down, Parag Limited is liquidated, we have to maintain this statutory reserve in the books of Anurag Limited. So how do we do that? For that, we need to pass a separate entry. We have to pass a book entry for that, and the entry will be amalgamation adjustment reserve account debit to statutory reserve account. So we pass a fresh entry. Amalgamation adjustment reserve account debit to statutory reserve account. This will ensure that the presence of this reserve continues in the balance sheet of new company, Anurag Limited, because this will be required as per the terms and conditions attached to such statutory reserve. So in order to maintain that reserve, you have to pass the book entry amalgamation adjustment reserve account debit to statutory reserve account. There was one more adjustment in the details pertaining to amalgamation. The last point, okay, let me take back to the question, this point. It says, debtors of Chirag Limited include rupees 5,000 which was due from Parag Limited. Now, if you see the repercussions of this, okay, what happens? Debtors of Chirag Limited. So this is the balance sheet of Chirag Limited. These are the debtors. 50,000 are the debtors of Chirag Limited. It includes 5,000 rupees due from Parag Limited. So if you see the balance sheet of Parag Limited, Parag Limited will carry a corresponding liability in the nature of creditors. So what is happening is, debtors of Chirag Limited includes 5,000 which is due from Parag Limited, and in case of Parag Limited, that liability will appear under the head sundry creditors, because it is the liability of Parag Limited and it is the asset for Chirag Limited. Okay, so what do we do? In the books of old companies, we have not done anything, and that was not required also. But in case of Anurag Limited, we need to take one step. We have to eliminate these intercompany debtors and creditors. Otherwise, your debtors will be inflated by 5,000 and your creditors will also be inflated by 5,000. See, these were intercompany transactions between Parag Limited and Chirag Limited. You have taken over assets of Chirag Limited, you have taken over liabilities of Parag Limited, and both the sides, this 5,000 rupees is included. But now Parag Limited is no more, Chirag Limited is no more, both the companies are liquidated. So that outstanding or payable amount does not stand anymore. We need to cancel that in the books of Anurag Limited. So we will pass one simple entry in the books of Anurag Limited to take care of this, and the entry will be sundry creditors account debit to sundry debtors account. This will eliminate your intercompany outstanding 5,000 and 5,000. Both the sides, debit and credit, your intercompany outstanding was completely eliminated by virtue of this entry. Have you understood these entries? Yes, especially last 2-3 entries. Any other entry for which you want me to give some additional explanation or something?
No, sir.
Okay, all of you are clear? Yes, shall we proceed?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now, one final step will be to prepare the balance sheet of Anurag Limited post amalgamation, after amalgamation. Okay. What I am going to do is, sorry. Today I am not going to do the balance sheet in a usual Schedule 3 format. I will prepare a simple T format balance sheet just for the purpose of understanding. This is the first sum completely illustrated for your understanding. We have not done it together. So let me just explain the concept as to how do we work on the balance sheet of Anurag Limited after amalgamation. Okay, so let's work on it simultaneously now. I will show you the way out, how do we prepare the balance sheet. I'll do it alongside here so that we have the clarity as to how do we work on this. So I'll prepare here. Balance sheet of Anurag Limited. Liabilities and then assets. Simple balance sheet in T form. Okay. Now where do we get the data from? Okay. That is the next question. The answer is very simple. We had prepared earlier a statement of assets and liabilities taken over. Correct? This was our statement of assets and liabilities taken over. Parag Limited, Chirag Limited, and total. We have to simply incorporate these numbers. Once your statement is ready, it will not take much time. So all these assets, I'm just copying. These assets will become part of the assets over here. The corresponding values will come from that statement only. So machinery, for example, if you have prepared the statement, then you don't have to do anything else. You have to just copy these numbers. Okay. So machinery, debtors and bank. Okay. You can also do this independently. Okay. Or you can cross check this independently. Let us see how do we cross check also. If you see this entry, takeover of assets of Parag Limited, the first company, you have taken over machinery worth 8 lakhs. And in the second entry for Chirag Limited, you have taken over machinery worth 8 lakh 80,000. If you sum it up, you will get the total amount of 16 lakhs 80,000. So actually, if you do this exercise earlier only in the form of that statement, then you don't have to bother about this after you pass the entries. Your data is already ready. If you don't prepare that statement, then every time you have to check what is taken over, do the totals and post it here. Instead of that, if that statement is ready, you can simply make the take the numbers from that statement. You can cross verify now. Stock is 65 plus 66, 1,31,000. Debtors are 95 plus 50, 1,45,000. And bank balance is 65 plus 40. So that is 105,000. Now there is one change that we have to make here in the balance of debtors. What is that change? That change comes from this particular entry, the last entry which we passed. Our debtors are reduced by 5,000 rupees. Because of that intercompany elimination of balances, we have to reduce the debtors. So that will affect your debtors balances. So this balance I will reduce by 5,000. Okay, that is the only change. Otherwise, the rest of the items will come as it is. Then we go to the liabilities taken over. Which are the liabilities taken over? 9% debentures were taken over, but it was converted into 10% debentures, and creditors were also taken over. So I'll copy both these items. These 9% debentures have now become 10% debentures. That is a change. Okay, so this is 2 lakhs. And creditors, both the companies together, 75,000 was for first company and second company was 90,000. So total amount of creditors you can put together. You can take from that statement also. I'm just adding it here. It's convenient. So total creditors are 1,65,000. Now again that last entry which we passed for intercompany elimination, that will affect these balance of creditors. So we are supposed to reduce this further by 5,000 rupees because of that intercompany adjustment. Okay, that will affect this balance. So creditors are also reduced by 5,000. Just like debtors, we reduce the creditors also by 5,000. Have you understood the items posted so far? Yes?
Yes, sir.
These are the assets and liabilities which you have taken over. You have simply totaled up Parag plus Chirag, whatever is the aggregate balance that is posted, because there are no further changes in that. It's except that 9% debentures became 10% debentures and debtors and creditors were reduced accordingly. Now we have to post other items. Which are the other items? One is a share capital, and the second one is a preference share capital, equity capital as well as preference share capital. We also have one reserve here, and that is statutory reserve. And there will be one more reserve called as capital reserve, because in the first entry we have the capital reserve also. So let us write down the items here, and then we will calculate the numbers, and then we will post it accordingly in this balance sheet. Okay, so the items which you are going to have is share capital. Work out how much it comes to. Then we will also have 7% preference share capital. This is the second item. We have issued the shares at premium. So you will have securities premium account. Then you will also have capital reserve. There is no goodwill, so we can't write off capital reserve. And just a minute, I'll bring down these items so that. And then we will also have reserve. Okay, these are the additional items that we will have in the balance sheet. Now let us see how we can calculate these items. Okay, so I'll plot the numbers, plot the details here as a working note. Equity share capital. Okay, now for Parag Limited and Chirag Limited, both the companies, we have issued capital. Okay, so I will just make a small working here. Number of shares, face value. For Parag Limited, 50,000 shares were issued, and for Chirag Limited, 46,000 shares were issued. So 50,000 and 46,000. This was a number. So face value is 5 lakhs, and this is 4,60,000. You can cross verify these numbers with the entry. You can see here the entry also. This is the relevant entry. Okay. Parag Limited, 5 lakhs rupees is the face value, and Chirag Limited, 460 is the face value. So you can instantly verify the details. Here we had a premium of 50,000, and here we had a premium of 46,000. Okay. So your numbers are ready. We can use these numbers in the balance sheet. So if you take the total, face value become 9,60,000 and securities premium is 96,000 rupees. Have you understood these numbers? Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So equity share capital amount is 9,60,000. 7% we will calculate. Premium is 96,000. Okay. Then preference share capital, if you see this entry, it was 7% preference share capital, 2,40,000, and this 2,40,000 was at face value. There was no premium charged to that. So premium, no premium, only 2,40,000 preference share capital. Then capital reserve, if you see this entry alone, we have a balancing figure of capital reserve of 4 lakhs. That will also come here, 4 lakhs. Then statutory reserve, if you see this entry, you have passed the entry entry amalgamation adjustment reserve account debit to statutory reserve account. Okay, so this statutory reserve will come here in inner column, but you have a debit balance in amalgamation adjustment reserve account that will be reduced. So less amalgamation adjustment reserve 50,000. Actually, in the balance sheet, you will not have any number as such for this purpose, but you will have to show this as part of your balance sheet. The reason being, you are supposed to maintain this reserve as per the statutory reserve related conditions. Okay, so we will show this in inner column and outer column. Outer column, nothing will come. Now let us check if the balance sheet is tallied or not. Okay, we have taken care of all the assets. We have taken care of all the liabilities also. Let us see if the balance sheet is tallied after this. I'll take the total here. $22,91,000 is a total over here, and I think creditors number कुछ गलत आया है क्या? Creditors कितने थे? Creditors was, I think some wrong link has come here. Creditors were 90,000 plus 75,000 minus 5,000. Okay. So this is the credit side total, liability side total. Debit side, asset side also, it is the same total. So our balance sheet is tallied 20,56,000. So this is the balance sheet total. Eventually you will do it in schedule 3 format, but just first sum. So we are trying to understand how to summarize the balance sheet based on these details, and this is how we are going to work on the balance sheet. So this is your balance sheet total, 20,56,000. It's tallied after the amalgamation is complete. Have you understood the technique of preparing the balance sheet? Yes. Any queries on entries in the books of Anurag Limited, or for that matter about the preparation of balance sheet of Anurag Limited post amalgamation? All of you understood the entire methodology?
Yes, sir.
Who has any doubts, clarity is required, explanation is required about any of the aspects which were discussed in last lecture or today's lecture? No doubts to be clarified or whatever?
No, sir.
Okay, fine. So what I will do is I will close this sum now. Okay, this was the first sum to give you an idea as to how the entire accounting happens in the books of old company as well as new company. Now from second question onwards, okay, we will do it together like earlier sums. Okay, this was only an illustration for you. So next sum onwards, we will do it together. So I'll be sharing the sums in advance so that you can be ready with the sum, and we'll be working on purchase consideration and other entries and everything at one go. Okay. Now I will close the recording and I will just discuss briefly what is the next sum. Okay. Let me stop the recording.